Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's DealerOn webinar, 10 awesome customer experience strategies you should be using. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by DealerOn. For anyone who isn't familiar with DealerOn, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency, best known for our amazing SEO, the best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, including the award-winning Chameleon responsive website platform. We're so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that DealerOn is still the only company in the industry that offers a money-back lead guarantee program. You can check out our gorgeous brand new DealerOn website at DealerOn.com. Also, DealerOn is going to be exhibiting and presenting at NADA Convention this weekend. We have the best booth around. So stop by booth 1161 and get this. If you pre-schedule a demo with us, we'll give you $100. If you buy on the floor, we'll hand over an Apple Watch. Your demo also comes with a free audit of your choice, and we'll go over the results in person right there at our booth. To top it all off, we'll toss in a copy of the new book we just wrote on local SEO. And while you're getting your NADA on, please check out the speaking sessions from these DealerOn executives on the slide that Bobbie hasn't shown you yet on booth 1161. We have an open bar too, so if you're going to be in New Orleans, come by and see us. We'd love to see you. All right, hope to see you there. And we have a great show in store for you today. We have the one and only Bobbie Herron as our presenter today. Bobbie Herron is the Director of Dealer Marketing at Zmot Auto and is responsible for the creation and implementation of digital marketing strategies and conversion best practices for dealer clients. Utilizing market information and cutting-edge technology to increase consumer engagement and create targeted in-market buyer opportunities, Zmot is best known for providing unparalleled, tailor-designed digital sales solutions, one-to-one sales attribution, and regional exclusivity for automotive dealerships within the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Bobbie had spent over 16 years enjoying a diverse automotive career and various responsibilities within a retail dealership, including general manager, before coming to Zmot. She's a very popular presenter at numerous conferences, including Digital Dealer, Women in Automotive, and Driving Sales. She's also a guest lecturer at Northwood University and a named winner of the 2015 Automotive News 40 Under 40. Bobbie can be reached at bherron@zmotauto.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, we're going to try to respond by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And guess what? Our good friends at Zmot Automotive, they're giving away a great prize on today's webinar. Holy moly, one of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win one entire month of consulting with the one and only Bobbie Herron. This consulting package includes several 2-hour phone calls, a roadmap to success, a full top-to-bottom store review, unlimited support, and so much more. This direct consulting package with Bobbie Herron is valued at $5,000. This is a tremendous prize for you and your dealership. You have to be on the live broadcast to score this amazing giveaway, though, so stay tuned, and who knows, you could be the one walking away with this awesome prize today. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, you're going to get a short survey, so fill it out. We're always looking for quality feedback from our audience, and let your opinion be heard. And hey, do you tweet much? We hope you do. We'd love to see what you have to say about today's presentation, so please tag us in it. You can use hashtag DealerOnWebby. I'm at Eliana Raggio. You can also hit up Bobbie Herron at Sign on the Line. We look forward to seeing what you're saying. So let's get started. Let's learn about 10 awesome customer experience strategies you should be using. Bobbie Herron, how are you, my friend?
I am good. I'm trying to click this button over here. There we go.
I knew you could figure it out.
Somebody's the consultant on button clicking. That's the one thing I can't help you with, apparently, with the PowerPoints and whatnot.
No, you're doing fine. You're doing fine, my love. All right, thank you so much for being here today. And for those of you who don't know, Bobbie Herron's actually right in the middle of NADA, already enjoying everything that New Orleans has to offer. And she stopped what she's doing at NADA to be here today to educate us all on these customer experience strategies. So I'm so excited. We've never really done one, exactly like this. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these 10 customer experience strategies are, but I know that they make a huge difference in all of the dealerships that you've implemented them in. So where do we begin, Bobbie?
Oh my goodness, so many places. Well, let's start with today's objectives. So takeaways and information that you're going to have from what we're going to talk about today is developing a why buy, creating an empowerment policy, a roadmap for each stage, which is going to be each one of the numbers that we go through up to 10, a confirmation process with verbiage that is focused on customer service, then our giveaway, and a question and answer session.
I love it. So if you have questions for Bobbie on anything that she's telling you about, hey, write those questions in. We're looking forward to a really nice, robust Q&A session. All right, where do we go from here, Bobbie?
All right, so we're going to start out with the uncomfortable part of this presentation. So for those of you who have seen me present or are familiar with me, you know that I'm very direct. I tell all of my clients, potential clients, friends, colleagues, that it is not my job to make you smile. It is not my job to make you feel good. That's your husband and wife's job. It's my job to help you make money. So we're going to go over the uncomfortable part first, and then we're going to talk about everything else. So take a deep breath. If you're a dealer on the line with me here, you're going to know what I'm talking about as soon as we get to this. So let's start here. Your business, the building, the dealership itself, it's not that special, okay? What I mean by that when I say that is everything about the dealership, everything that you do can be redone in another spot, right? Your competitor can sell the same kind of vehicle, the same make and model. They can negotiate the same trade-in, the same lease payment, the same finance rate. All of those things are the same wherever you go. When you look at what's different inside of your business, it's the people that are different inside of your business. That's what makes your business special, and that's what we're going to focus on today. The people who are at your store and the people who are coming there, the people who want to, their friends, their family. How do we look different in a sea of things that all look the same? So you might say to yourself, Steph, wait a minute, I have the largest inventory in the area. No, you don't. The internet does. That's not a thing anymore, okay? We're family owned for 1,000 years. That is a great why work here. And it is great that you have that, but your customer doesn't care. And I hate to say that like that, but remember, this is a customer perception, and that's what we're talking about today. We have loaners in service. Everybody has loaners in service. Also, having a loaner in service is not a why buy. You're going to have a loaner in service even if they buy the car somewhere else. They all know that already, right? The other thing is we're awesome about service after the sale. I hear this a lot inside of dealerships because when I talk to them, I'll say, what's your why buy? And these are the things they give me. These are not why buy messages. If you're awesome about service after the sale, that's fantastic. That is for repeat and referral business. That's loyalty. That's a different part of what you're trying to accomplish here. All right, so Eliana, the building didn't make the smile in this customer picture. Well, neither did the people, because this is from Shutterstock, but this is what they're supposed to look like with the music, right? I tried to tell you I took it on the lot, but I didn't. So the employees create the smile on their faces. Maybe the dealer did too. Particularly it's the people. All right, so Eliana, that brings us to our first poll before we get started.
Yes. All right, audience, we have a lot of poll questions coming your way today, so we're looking forward to having you tell us what's happening at your dealership. Like this first question, here we go. Does your store currently have a well-written why buy message with at least 5 items? Please select one of the following answers. Oh, snap, we are hashtag winning over here. Yes, we do. You can tell I didn't write that answer, right, people? All right. Your next answer is, we have one. It's not that great, and we hardly ever use it. How about, we did until you told us it doesn't count. Maybe it doesn't have 5 items. Okay, there we go. Maybe it's not well written. That's a possibility too. Or, nah, we're too busy selling cars to worry about a why buy message. Or the last answer, we're all talk and no action. Or, hey, we're working on the why buy, all right? Back off. All right, so once we get a majority of the votes in, we'll close this poll and share the results. We want to know, does your store currently have a well-written why buy message with at least 5 items? And so just so I'm hearing you correctly, the 5 items should not include, hey, we've been in business for like 120 years?
Yep, can't use that.
Can't use that, okay. Family owned and operated for like 70 years?
Right, because that's a why work for us, not a why buy. Important, but not for this.
Got it. Okay. All right. Let's close this poll. All right, audience. Thank you so much for your votes. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Here we go. 28% of today's audience say, oh, snap, we are hashtag winning over here. Yes, we do. That is the majority, my friend. 28% said they are doing the why buy message correctly. Now, a quarter of today's audience say we have one, We admit it's not that great, and yeah, we hardly ever use that thing. 20% of today's audience say we did, but you just told us we got disqualified, so I guess it doesn't count. 10% of today's audience say, nah, we're too busy selling cars to worry about a why buy message. And the remaining 18% said, we're all talk and no action. We're working on it. Does that help you out? Does this help you out at all, Bobbie?
Yes, yes, it does. We are going to run through, based on these poll questions, we're going to run through some extra stuff, and you're getting way more than 10 things as we go through today, but you're going to have a couple main ones. So based on those answers, let's go ahead and start here. Okay, I'm not going to put you through a whole hour-long conversation about your why buy, but it's extremely important, and here's why. When we talk about customer service, it has to touch every part of your process, right? It has to touch every part of your business, starting with OEM consideration, brand consideration, familiarity, the actual part where they come in and buy from you or give you an opportunity to sell them something, and then follow up after the sale. These are all customer service focused. So when we look at this as a whole, we have to know that in order for a customer experience strategy to work, you have to set up an expectation and then you have to follow through on it. That's where your why buy comes in. I want you to think for just a moment about all of the different things that are happening out there with a dealership. How do you look differently online? Obviously, if you have a DealerOn website, you're already set up for success. But let's say you don't, or let's say that your competitor has one too. If I'm coming to you and everything looks the same and I'm still in a brand consideration phase, I'm still looking in the beginning, you've got to make yourself special. Remembering that the price and stuff, everything looks the same to the customer now. We don't have that same level of control anymore. So take your why buy and sprinkle it through your whole business, starting with your website. By the time they hit your lot, I want you to think about this for a minute. How many of you have floor mats in your used vehicles that are paper? A lot of dealerships still have them. I'll bet you that if you do, it has your name of your business, your logo, and your website on it. You don't need to put your website everywhere anymore because people will just Google it. That's how it works now. You don't need to put your logo on there because you're at the dealership. But what if you put your why buy on there and you've got 4 reasons listed on there while you're doing it, right? So I get in the car, and instead of me having to have the salesperson put something into my head, I get like a little psychological exchange. I look down at these paper mats and then boom, why buy? Yeah, that's why I should buy. Starts right out of the gate just like that. Every opportunity that you have to showcase the why buy is where you should put it. I'm going to take you back to a point with customer service where we would sit in a restaurant. I've been doing this for 17 years. We would sit in a restaurant and we would leave our card on the table, and boy, did we think we were doing something killer, right? Now I want you to think about the last time that you were at a restaurant with somebody and they had their phone out and they put it on the table. Did they face it up or did they face it down? It's almost always facing down. You know what that means? The back of your phone case should be customized with a why buy from me, with the logo for the dealership and the top 3 reasons, because it's not going to sell something, it's going to cause a conversation. You want to stop paying Google $10,000 a month all the time and get some actual impression share everywhere? Do that. Think about how that works. Every time you're taking a selfie, every time you're seeing somebody take a picture, every time you're taking a picture of your kids, your family, something at the dealership, everybody is seeing the back of your phone case, and you are giving yourself a why buy message that starts in the beginning and goes to the end. Very important thing to tell you about this though, your why buy is an expectation setup. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. Follow through on that why buy. Way too often we tell a customer something, whether it's on the phone, for them calling in on a vehicle, whether we call them on an internet, quote unquote lead, whether they've walked in the door, it doesn't matter. We set up expectations all the time that we don't follow through on, and then we say things like, well, we're going to work on that. Well, you just lost a customer's perception. And what we're trying to do with every one of these customer service steps is reduce your defector rate. We're trying to put people in a Ferris wheel all the time with our business so that when they're ready to buy, they're looking at us as the first option. When they're ready to buy their next car, they're doing the same thing. So I'm going to tell you guys this. 3 top ways to see if your why buy is actually your why buy, or if you guys guessed it. So online reviews. Look at your online reviews and let your customers tell you why they bought there. That makes a lot of sense for when you're putting a why buy out there. In-store focus groups, whether they were people who came in and didn't buy or they were people who came in and did buy, set up little focus groups. Ask your customers to help you improve your strategy. Don't be afraid to do that. You know what people love to do? They love to help people. They love to be right. They love to say, ooh, I helped them do that. So put it out there. Say, we're going to give you an oil change at no charge. Just one. We're not trying to be a loss leader here. But if you gave them an oil change at no charge for giving you a focus group, not only do you create an experience where the customer feels bought into your business and comfortable sending somebody to you, but on top of that, you just introduced them to your service department. And you did it in a way that was non-threatening, right? And then how about this? Just try a conversation. Ask people in your family, non-automotive people, your friends, hey, why would you buy here? And let them tell you why they would do that, and then plaster it everywhere. Don't let it just be a conversation in the store. And for those of you who didn't fall into that 28% of absolutely, we're hashtag winning, if you didn't fall into that part of it, that's okay. This is a start thing, right? We don't know what we don't know, but once you know it, if you don't implement it, then you're just not holding yourself or your teams accountable. So big part of this as we go through, we're going to talk about a why buy a lot during this process. All right, so I think we've done worse on that one enough, but get your why buy together, and if you're having problems with it, call me. My number's at the bottom of the screen. I'll just help you because I'm a good person who appreciates customer service. All right, Eliana, that brings us to our next poll question.
All right, our next poll question on the screen now. It's a pretty easy one. Only 3 answers on this one, so we want to know, before we move forward, is Bobbie being a jerk today? Does she need to deliver her message with a little more sweetness? Please select one of the following answers. Why, yes. I was wondering why I signed up for this abuse. Answer number 2, she's kind of a, what's that word? Duck? She's kind of a duck, but it's good info. Maybe be a little nicer. Or nope, bring it. I can handle the truth. Once we get a majority of the votes in, we'll close this poll, share the results, and we'll see what Bobbie's going to throw at us next. By the way, I did get a really cool comment that came in from Tim. He says, we don't call ours a why buy, we call ours a peace of mind guarantee. I thought that was pretty good. I like that.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah, you know what? I love that, and I'm going to steal that term for you because they say that imitation is the biggest form of flattery, right? I appreciate that you guys put that together, and I'd love to talk to you more about it.
Hey, Tim, she's going to steal it from you. Got it. Okay, here we go. All right. By the way, Tim says awesome. Almost everyone has voted on this question. I can't wait for you to see the results. Here we go. Okay, 4% of today's audience said, yes, I was wondering why I signed up for this abuse. Only 2% of today's audience said she's being a duck. And the majority, 93% of today's audience say, no, bring it. I can handle the truth. So, Bobbie, bring it.
All right, it's about to be brought in, people. So we're going to be really direct. We're going to go through this very fast. And at the end, I want you to remember that you answered it that way. But I appreciate that about you. It means that you're here to learn. So let's roll through it. All right, first thing we're going to talk about real quick, what are we covering today and how does it give you touch points? I was not willing to get on this webinar and give you like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to do that to you. We're going to go in depth and we're going to go through each one of the parts of the consumer journey. I don't care what you call it. Consumer journey is a little outdated in the term, but what they go through is the same thing. So we have awareness. Awareness is going to cover brand consideration and OEM consideration. You have familiarity. That's you guys. Consideration, taking the car and you guys and putting it together. Purchase, that's the time of sale. And then loyalty, obviously, that's the retention afterwards. Now, everybody defines these things differently. There's probably 65 charts and graphs out there that say, like, awareness should cover this. I'm giving you, I have worked in a dealership for 17 years. I'm giving you real world stuff that I've dealt with. And the reason that I can give you these things, it's not because I read a bunch of articles or sat in a conference. It's not because I heard somebody else say it. It's because I failed over and over and over again until I succeeded. And then I started hashtag winning. That happened for me a long time ago, but it was because I checked my ego, listened to people around me, and then paid attention to my customers. The key to customer experience is nothing more than this. Listen to listen, not to reply. Listen to your customers. They're telling you exactly what to do. They're complaining when it's not right. They're giving positive reinforcement when it is. They're writing all over the internet. They're going into forums. They're everywhere. Just listen to what they have to say. What we want to do is take the online experience and bring it to the online experience. People talk about this all the time, but getting it done is hard. For me, my tagline, when I think about personally, we are where opportunity meets experience, right? This is when an opportunity, a internet lead, and I hate that word, but I'll use it during the session so that you guys can refer back to it. Where opportunity, where a lead meets an experience is where you get out of the comfort zone and you start to make sales. That's where it happens. All right. You want to be in a needle in a haystack? We're going to roll through this real quick and we're going to talk about it. So first of all, let's have the conversation about what really is customer service, okay? So I want you to ask yourself a question and I want you to be honest. No one's going to know. It's only happening in your head. So is every part of your process from being seen online to after the sale designed for the consumer? And I want you to really think about this because I think you and I both know it's not. And it's not because it's similar to filling out a survey later, right? Even the very best aren't the very best at everything because we always have room to move and grow. So thinking about not gross profit, not selling cars, not your employees, not your Saturday, not who got to leave at 6 o'clock, not who didn't get to leave at 6 o'clock. If every part of your experience is designed for the customer, sales come. They fall right into your lap because you're not trying to work around anything. That is how this is going to go for you guys today, and that's what I'm going to ask you to ask yourself so that you're very open and honest as we go through this. So one of my favorite sayings in life is, only dead fish go with the flow. People always say to me, go with the flow. Don't go with the flow. What are you thinking? That's like saying, don't sweat the details. Absolutely sweat the details. That is the difference. So how do we do this? How do we set you apart? How about this? On your mark, get set, it's go time. Let's talk about Kohl's. For those of you who have shopped there or have a wife or a spouse that shopped there, I used to hate Kohl's. Now they've got cool like house stuff, but they don't have like, I'm kind of an edgy professional who still needs to look really professional but still wants to be a little edgy. I don't ever shop there. It's not my jam. But my kids wanted me to go in there one day, and so I did. I picked up a shirt. It had a sign above it. I know the law, right? If the sign is there, this is the price. I'm not going to argue over dollars. That's just not how my life works. And I get to the counter and I say to the lady as it rings up, oh darn, that had a sign in front of it. Now, any other store, what would we do? We would call a manager. We would have to page somebody. We're going to wait 10 minutes. You know what they did at Kohl's? They said, Miss Herron, that is absolutely not a problem. Boom, I'm out of the store. And I'm like, what just happened there? That's crazy. So I did a little bit of research, and here's the deal at Kohl's. Kohl's empowers their employees to make a decision up to $50 for a customer at the cash register. No questions asked. You have an expired coupon, doesn't matter. You have a $50 difference on something, doesn't matter. Now their managers can go even more a step above and beyond, but their employees are empowered up to a certain dollar amount to be able to help a consumer at any point in time. You know what happened after that? I liked that there was no hassle at that store. Amazing how I started looking a little bit harder to find things that I liked in a store that I enjoyed the experience in. And I'm not one of those people that has time to be out of the house all the time, right? This process that they've put into place at Kohl's, this customer empowerment, according to their stats, has increased their retention on customers over 22% since being implemented, and it has increased their sales by over 7% since being implemented.
Wow, that's a lot. That's great.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because we are a society of convenience. We don't like to be told no, and we don't have to be. That lady gave me a $5 discount on a shirt that made me go back 4 times since then, right? And again, I'm an Amazon shopper. I don't have time to go to the store. So this is a big deal. The reason I'm sharing that information with you is as we go through this, I'm going to show you a couple of big name companies that have got it right. And I'll remind you as we go through this that I didn't make these companies up. None of them have bankruptcies right now. As a matter of fact, if you look at them on social, they are ruling the world with their customers and what they're saying about them. And isn't that what we want in our dealership too? Don't we want to let other people speak for us so that we can see what they have to say, so we can make improvements? We're always so scared about surveys. We're always, let me make sure it's a 10. If it's not a 10, call me right away. Now I get it. That's the OEM. We have to make sure that we're getting our money coming in here. But what we've done is we've robbed ourselves of the opportunity to listen to our customers. We've robbed ourselves of a chance to ask them, what would you like to see more, so that they come back to us. That's a big thing for us, right? So here's the thing. Empower your people. If you can't empower your people, you've got the wrong people. Everybody has a role that they play when it comes to customer experience. It's time to sit down and come up with a policy, if you don't have one, and talk about what is that dollar amount? What does it look like? Write out the top 20 things that drove you crazy last year with a customer, or over the last year that you went, oh, if I could just, or I wish they would, because look, they feel the same way. And then make a policy and stick to it. GMs, dealer principals, make a policy, get out of their way, and then make sure you hold them accountable for doing it. Sales managers, make sure that your people are empowered and that they're doing it. Somebody comes back and they say something to you like, you know, there's a piece of tint on my window that's peeling. It's like $7 to tint half a window. So why do they need to come and check with you? They don't need to do that. If you find you have people abusing it, then get rid of those people. Those are the people we want in our business. Also, though, allow them the flexibility to break the rules when it's to help a customer in a less than ideal circumstance. Here's what I mean by that. If you're not comfortable empowering your people today, allow them to break the rules when it is to help a customer in a less than ideal circumstances. Company rules don't always dictate the quality of service that you provide. It's okay to have to go get a manager, but you shouldn't go get a manager every single little time something happens, because what it says to your customers is that they weren't important enough to work with somebody who can make a decision to make their life better right out of the gate. All right, so let's talk about empowerment. Number 2, basically, the ability to get shit done, right? Seriously though,
what'd you say?
Shit is a southern word that they use for NADA. I heard it yesterday as a hashtag thing.
Right.
But no, seriously, the employees are authorized to make a decision on behalf of the customer, are they? If they're not, make that be done. There's your number 2 on your customer experience strategy. What do you need to do? Do that. All right. Let's go on to our next moment here, and that is going to be a poll question, Eliana.
That's right, audience. Your third poll question is on the screen now. We want to know, at your dealership, do you currently have an empowerment policy? Please select one of the following answers. Absolutely, power to the people. Yes, but only up to a certain dollar amount. We're working on a plan, kind of. Oh, Bobbie, you're so funny. Of course we don't. Or, what the heck is an empowerment policy? Now, of course, we just did cover what an empowerment policy is, as she described what Kohl's has. But we want to know, what do you have going on at your dealership? Do you currently have an empowerment policy at your dealership? Once we get a majority of the votes in, we're going to close this poll and share the results. And I want to share a comment that came in from Darwin. Darwin says, dealers are more worried about the employees measuring up to the metrics, are too focused on the analytics versus the customer experience. Create an awesome customer experience, and the metrics and the analytics will fall into place. So thank you for that.
My friend. That is the truth.
That is from Darwin, so thank you so much for that. All right, votes are still coming in. Let's go over this one more time. Do you currently have an empowerment policy at your dealership? Absolutely, power to the people. Yes, but only up to a certain dollar amount. We're working on a plan? Kind of. Bobbie, you're so funny. Of course we don't. Or what the heck is an empowerment policy? All right, Bobbie, if you're ready, I'll close this poll and we'll share this result.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, here we go. All right, 19% of today's audience say absolutely they do, power to the people. 21% of today's audience say they do have an empowerment policy at their dealership, but only up to a certain amount. Okay, so that's 40% of today's audience who say they have an empowerment policy. That's great.
I love that. I absolutely love that, but I'm going to challenge you guys real quick, and I want you to be honest with yourself in your head, right? Let's say that I'm a customer. It's the end of the night. I bought a car from you guys, and I use your service department. My car actually ran out of gas almost right in front of the dealership, so I pulled into the dealership because I made it in there. You guys are closed, but the lot guy, your porter, he's out on the lot right now locking up the car keys, right, because the salespeople probably didn't do it. That's neither here nor there, but he's locking it up, and I go, oh my God, I don't have my purse with me. This is terrible. Can that lot porter, hand me a $20 bill, come in and explain it in the morning, and you give him his money back? And if your answer is no, you don't have an empowerment policy. You have a selective policy. Keep that in the back of your mind as we go through these things. All right.
Very good. Okay, let's get to more of these results. 16% of today's audience says we're working on an empowerment policy right now, kind of. And the majority, 37% of today's audience says, Bobbie, you're so funny. No, we don't.
I am funny.
If only your kids knew how funny you are. Okay, and then the remaining 7% of today's audience says they're not really sure they understand the full concept of an empowerment policy. All right, hopefully that helps you out.
Yes, it definitely does. And here's the thing, guys. You know, I worked in the dealership for 17 years before I became a consultant that handles performance management and digital products. So when I talk about my background in doing that, I want you to know that if you want to reach out to me, I'll have a conversation with you about the process in your store and how you can improve it, just as a dealer-to-dealer thing, just because that's how I roll. I will help you with that. So please do not be afraid to do that. Ask it through the Q&A and then let's chat. All right, perception is reality. Memorize that. I know you've heard it before, but perception is reality. Customer service begins before the customer knows who you are. As we go through these slides, through the 1 through 3, I'm going to walk you through a couple of things that are real life in the dealership that you can use today that will change your business. Okay? Whatever expectation you set, you must follow through on. I'm going to give you an example here. Let's say, and I told Eliana I was going to talk about dating while we were on here, so I don't know if you're single, I don't know if you're married, but I can tell you this, everybody's heard of Tinder, right? Bumble, whatever, you can pass it up if you want to, Match.com, I don't know what you guys use. And I'm not judging you. I'm like Planet Fitness, I'm a judgment-free zone over here. But what I will tell you is that you could meet somebody on one of these dating sites and you could have these really great conversations. You could really connect with somebody. And I'm telling you this because I want you to think about this like a consumer. You're shopping for people or you're shopping for a car. It doesn't matter. You're still shopping, okay? So if we're having this really great conversation, I'm feeling really strong about everything, we're really good. I'm like, hey, you should send me over a picture. Not that kind. You should send me over a picture. And I get the picture and I'm like, oh, you're really cute. I was engaged with you before I saw the picture, correct? Now, fast forward 3 days to our first date that you asked me out on because you got courage up, and that was great because I am single, so that's perfect. So we go out on this date, I get there to meet you, and I see you and you're 10 years older than the picture that you sent me. Here's the thing. I don't care that you're 10 years older. It was a connection that we made of why buy or a peace of mind, right? Except now I feel like you lied to me. You didn't have to send me a picture that was 10 years old. I was already into you. But because you did, now when I come up to you, my wall is back up, baby. Now I think that you could lie to me again. Before, the wall was coming down. And that's what we're doing with customers. All we're doing is breaking down the wall. Customers despise us. You know this. It's a thing. As a matter of fact, a customer researches a car between 17 and 19 hours. 17 and 19 hours. Do you know that Harvard came out with a study a couple years ago, and I quote this a lot because it's so powerful. Harvard comes out with a study that says when a person goes into an emergency room and has to have an emergency triple bypass surgery that they did not expect to have and they have 2 days notice. You came in, I said in 2 days you're having an emergency surgery. You're going to go home and do some research, right? The doctor starts telling you stuff. The doctor is going to put his hands inside of your chest. He's going to cut you open, massage your heart, pull it out. You're basically dead for a second. And you know what? There's maybe a 50% chance. I don't know the real stat on that. Don't put me on that one, but I think it's 50-50. But you have a 50-50 chance of surviving the surgery. You know how long that they researched that for, Eliana? On average? 3 hours.
I was going to say, it's got to be a few hours, right?
Yeah, it's 3 in comparison to a car shopping thing for 19 hours. That's because when we set an expectation, we don't always follow through on it. We say things like, the car will be ready for you when you get here, and then the car is gone when they get there, right? Or somebody didn't pull it off. We say things like, we don't want you to have to wait when you come in, so we need to make sure we set you an appointment at the 15 after mark. Awesome. And then when I get there, the manager, because nobody told me who I was going to meet with, they're just like, go to the sales manager. By the way, guys, that's a terrible plan, okay? That's something else to talk about, though. So the person comes in, and they're like, they're waiting for the sales manager for 10, 15 minutes, and the sales manager is scrambling to find a salesperson who's available right now that can take them because that's how they have their process set up. And look, this is not a judgment thing. It's not right or wrong. It's just different. It's typically my life policy. That's wrong. The customer waits 30 minutes when you said you didn't want to make them wait, and what did you just do? You just sent them a picture of you 10 years ago. And now our walls are back up. Now we got to do 19 hours more research because we don't trust you. That's why you're doing this from beginning to end. That's why you start with a why buy. All right. I want to tell you a little story about a company called WestJet. WestJet takes a marketing plan, sprinkles in some kindness, and creates an outstanding result. What they did is at Christmas time, they had a flight that was going into Calgary. When you got to the airport, note the top picture right here, there was a little Santa box. It was like, oh, what do you want to have from Santa Claus, right? Adults, kids, there's nothing to do in the airport. So when something new comes up, you're like, this is awesome. They pick what they want for a present. They don't know they're going to get the present. And when they get off the plane, on the luggage rack coming around is gifts with all of their names on it with all of these presents. Now, you think 100 people on the plane, maybe they spent $1,000 a piece because they bought some pretty cool stuff, right? And you think about the people time and you think, oh, that's a lot of money. Is it? They got 40 million views from that campaign. 40 million views. You know how much it costs by 40 million views on Google? That's a lot of impression share. And all it took was a little bit of kindness and a little bit of effort, all right? That's what we're looking for here. We're looking for things in daily life that we can do. We're not looking to say, oh, it's Christmas. What kind of campaign can I put out? I better put out a happy holidays. Should I say Merry Christmas? Better put on a Christmas tree? Why don't you just sprinkle in some kindness instead of doing all that crap? And that way, these customers who aren't ready to buy today, but they will be ready to buy sometime in the next 2 years because that's the average trade cycle, thinks about you. You want to get on a mom's best side? Have Santa Claus in your store, right? But don't just do it that way. Make it a whole campaign. That's a best practice. A best practice is looking for things that nobody else sees as an opportunity and taking them to the next level. All right. We're going to go on to number 4 here, and this is where we're going to get kind of in-depth, okay? So instead of breaking this down as a 1, we should just do this. I'm going to give you guys 3 different things for each one of these. So I always want you to start at start. You're not going to be the best at everything right out of the gate, and I don't expect you to. The second thing is called a roadmap. For me, what a roadmap means with my clients, friends, colleagues, okay, what I mean when I say that is once you know where you're going to start and once you know where your final destination is, right there down on the bottom, you have to have a roadmap to get there, right? If there's 10 things that have to be done and we go, we're going to do all 10 things tomorrow, that's crap. No, you're not. That's not how you create buy-in. That's like raising kids and saying, it's because I said so. You know what? They eat the sucker when you're not home after bedtime because they don't know why they're not supposed to eat the sucker. So let's talk about OEM brand consideration. For real though, this is customer service process, even if it doesn't feel that way as we go. So what's the start for brand consideration? Train on the comparison of your top 3 competitors, okay? I do not mean have them watch an OEM video. I do not mean talk about, well, there's 2 differences in navigation. I mean teach them those cars like they live on your lap. Bring them in. Get them from a rental company. Call a friend. We're in the car business. You can find them, I promise. Bring them to the dealership and train on not what their technical stuff is. This comes in package A. This is this. Train on the solution. What problem does it solve for the customer? What are the good and the bad points? Salespeople cannot create workarounds, business managers, dealers, for things that we don't know, and we're bad about that. You're going to have vendors call you and say, oh my gosh, you should run a conquest campaign. Dealers all the time call me, Bobbie, should I run a conquest campaign? Do your salespeople know the top 3 competitive cars that you're going to be doing? I mean, I give them a flyer, so when the customer calls in, are they going to be able to actually have a conversation about it? Well, we'll just get them in. No, you should not. You should not have a conquest campaign because you have to start at start. Let them drive the cars home. Create a focus group of their families. Coach them on what it is. Park the 3 cars. Let's say our sales meeting this week is a conquest meeting. We're going to learn, okay? Park the 3 cars in the front of your building next to the other car. Leave them there. Everybody drives them all day. Everybody talks about them all day. Your sales meeting just happened out there all day long. Because here's the deal. Even if you're not running some kind of an advertising campaign for anything, there's over 80% of customers that switch vehicles. They switch vehicles. They'll like come in on a quote-unquote lead on an F-150 and buy a Mini Cooper. You're like, what just happened? There's a million different reasons, but I'll tell you what the main one is. It's because there's not one website out there, not one product out there where I as a consumer can say, you know, I know that navigation, a backup camera, and Bluetooth are really important to me. Outside of that, like, I don't know, like, show me what fits that. Sure, you can go on AutoTrader, you know, on Cars.com or a couple of these other sites, and you can say, show me these, and what do you get in return? Everybody's inventory, not a list of what you should start looking at. So consumers start looking at one thing, and then they funnel through it, and they go, oh, I didn't even know this was an option. All of a sudden, I love it. How are you as a dealer or a salesperson going to convince that customer that if they do decide they want a brand that you don't sell, that you can sell them a like new pre-owned one, and you know about the car. And the reason that they want to let you be their person, the reason they want to let you buy the car for them and find it is because you know that stuff. Again, follow through on expectations. We have a tendency in our business to say, we'll buy the car for you. We'll go get it for you. No big deal. We're going to look it up. And then we never call them back, right? So the salesman is like, oh, yeah, this is going to be a thing. It's a thing. Think about this as a concierge service when you think about customer service strategies, right? We're selling an experience. That's the reality of the situation and what we do. We sell ourselves. We are in the today business. I want you to know today that I want to earn your business, and I will go above and beyond to do it, and I will train people to do the same thing. Where we lose people, though, is when we say that we're going to do something and then we don't do it. So give them a start at start, bring in the cars, let them drive them home. Roadmap, time to show off your skills. Once you've got past start at start, now what do we do? Build some comparison web pages. Remember, you're an OEM brand consideration. Train on the phone skills for a conquest and comparison. You don't have to be running an ad to need to know that. And look, you've already got the basis. We're building a foundation. This is what a roadmap looks like. It's like we're building our house. We're not going to put a roof on the house before we have walls. That would be silly, right? So next, final destination. Put your money where your mouth is. Drive the traffic and convert it. Stop spending money in a store to bring people in, to give them a less than stellar experience, and to not know what they need. Those 3 things are your customer experience strategy for OEM brand consideration. All right, moving on. Do you know who your influencers are? Maybe you don't, maybe you do. I'll tell you what, your influencers are the people on social media who are mouthy and sassy and feisty and like to use it. Every time Delta makes me angry, I tweet about them. And I'm not even a jerk like that. I'm like 96% of the time a really kind person, but they are consistently living in the 4%. And so I tweet Delta Assist because they fix things for me. You should know that when I walk into your business. Like, I'm not going to be a tattletale, but you should probably take care of me. I don't look like that. Probably a good idea to know who those people are. So why wouldn't you be following them on their social media? Oh, hey, by the way, that also increases your engagement on social media for free, and that's going to be less expensive for you. A better opportunity. Keep that in the back of your mind. And at Delta Assist, that's what it is, by the way, guys.
They consistently live in that 4%. That's hysterical.
I'm serious about it. All right, so let me give you a really great example about this, okay? So this guy, Peter Shankman, he tweets to Morton's when he gets on an airplane. Hey, Morton's Steakhouse, can you meet me at the Newark airport with a porterhouse when I land in 2 hours? Okay, thanks. Thinks he's being silly, right? Hey, Morton's is on top of it because you know what Morton's did? They met him at the airport.
Get out. Dude, I am totally texting Morton's today.
Dude, you should. And here's the best part. You know what they didn't know when they did it? Or maybe they're smart and they did. But he is an author and a speaker on customer service. His audience is massive. Morton's has places all around the country. So that trip, let's say with the food, the cost of the employee, all that jazz, let's just get crazy with it and say it's $300. It's probably more like $100, but let's say it's $300. That's a lot of engagement for $300 because he's an influencer and they were paying attention. Social media is not always about, oh, you know, get your stuff out there so you have this and so you can advertise this. Social media is designed to listen to your customers. It's really basic. It's good customer service. Imagine if you have a customer who tweets out something about having a broken down car or wanting a new car or seeing something cool. There's this really great app called Mentions, okay? It's $79 a month. A dealership can put somebody in charge of it. You can literally put in like up to 100 things that if they're mentioned anywhere on the web, that person gets an alert. I'm not saying nothing I'm giving you today is difficult to do. So if you look at it and you're like, oh my God, it's so time consuming. 1, it's worth it. 2, stop making excuses. That's why we have to have conversations like this. 3, just do it. There's an app out there for everything. There is something out there for everybody to make your life just a little bit easier. All right, moving on. Dealership consideration. Consumers are also empowered. All right, what's your start for the dealership consideration level? This is number 5 for you guys. Your start is to research your online reviews. Find out what people are saying about you. 1, you need it for that why-buy that you're almost in building. Fix the issues. It's not just a response. OEMs hire companies to respond to these things because dealers weren't doing it. And then the dealers are like, oh my God, this is a great idea. We have all these companies that will respond to them. How about you pay attention? If you're paying attention, all of this stuff falls into place. Listen to your customer. I'm not saying get rid of your company, okay? I'm just saying pay attention. Like legit, fix it. So the roadmap on this, the next step, once you've done that, and remembering this, if you're not paying attention to your online reviews, I'll just throw this in for you. If you're not paying attention to your online reviews, then I'm going to remind you that if you pulled up into your dealership in the morning and across the building in big red letters it said the word thief, you would be on a ladder. All right, you might make somebody else be on the ladder, but that would be down by the end of the day, I promise you. And the people that are driving past your dealership, they're not even all auto intenders. But the people online that are looking you up, the thousands, not the hundreds, see thief across your building in big red letters, and you just leave it there. You're like, we'll deal with it tomorrow. That's not a good option, guys. It's not a good option. All right. Feature the positives on your site in all of your emails, in all of your advertising. People say to me all the time, Bobbie, what should we do for a process and send to our customers when they're sending in a lead and we can't engage, or it's a follow-up after the sale where they didn't buy? Here's what I would do. I would let my customers speak for me, right? That's what we do. We take the positive ones. Imagine the VDP page on your website, right? The vehicle display page, if you're not familiar, that's the one where you just click the car and there you're there. Some of the people on the call might not be, so that's not condescending. That's just knowledge. Put your reviews on that. You got all that white space. Why are you letting everybody else tell you what to put on your page? I'll tell you what, if I go to your site and I look at the car and it's merchandised properly, everything is there, and then I see a customer review on there, as a customer experience strategy, I'm going to trust that person more than I trust you, and I'm like, oh my God, this was a great experience. That's so cool. You don't even have to have a feed coming in, guys. You can put it in a static. It's simple. It's free, by the way. You can just do it for free on your site. Put it in all of your emails. Feature them. I'm not talking about stick a link in there. I'm not talking about, oh, this goes to our page that our OEM did. I'm talking about get serious about it. I'm talking about just put it in there. This is what the customer said. By the way, here's the link if you want to see I'm serious that we're telling you the truth. Put it in all of your advertising. Stop advertising stuff like the lease is $99 a month. The customer doesn't believe you, and P.S., they're going to Google it anyways. Put that on your website for free. Instead, talk about why somebody should consider you at this point, okay? Final destination, time to up your game, video testimonials, featured influencers. Shine bright like a diamond, baby. When people buy a car, what are they? They're excited. Get a video testimonial. Make it a contest. I don't know. I got a lot of ideas for it. You can reach out to me. I'm happy to share them with you. And they're not just ideas, they're things that we've done, right? But imagine now that we're at final destination, look back through what just happened. Now I can respond to an online review with another customer's review. I can feature the review on my website on that VDP page, and I can link it back to YouTube instead of getting extra relevancy from Google for free. I can also put it in my emails, in all of my advertising, and boom, I can send it out on social media and tag those influencers. You want to know who your influencers are? It's really simple. You just go, hey, do you use Twitter? They're like, yeah. People who use Twitter are serious influencers because Twitter is not easy to use, and then, you know, it's like for people who have ADD. It's gone in like 3 seconds. Ask them if they use Facebook. Now you know. Tag them as an influencer in your system. All right. Next up, why buy? Yeah, seriously. I'm just reminding you again. This is a legit thing. Please make sure you do it. All right. This B. Dalton bookseller, this used to be, it's actually Barnes & Noble now. They bought them out. This lady went all over online, this is pre-Twitter, talking about it. It still comes up everywhere, and they're tagged in it. Years later, lady goes to the bookstore, wants to get a book. The book is not available. The girl at the counter, who's empowered and obviously also awesome, decides to call the competitive store down the road and find out if they have the book. Not only do they have the book, the lady has them hold the book, and she tells the woman, it's so great, we have it right down the store before you leave. Is there anything else I can help you with? Blah, 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 blah. You know what the customer did? You might think in your head, God, why would you send somebody somewhere else? Because we're not just trying to sell a car right now. We're trying to sell a car for the rest of your life, okay? You know what the lady said? She said she gave me the contact name of porters and told me to just go up to the counter. My book would be waiting. Oh, my God, that was amazing. And every time I bought a book after that, I went to B. Dalton because they had amazing customer service. I bought 100 books there just because of that one girl. How are your people? This is serious. All right, purchase. We're going to cover real quick response time, transparency, hard appointment, and confirmation. Remember I told you I'm walking you through the whole process. So here we are. Now we have an opportunity. How do we turn it into a sale? Let's talk about the customer service that is needed during that. All right, one more example. Look at this cute little note. Dear Sainsbury's, that's a grocery store somewhere. Why is tiger bread called tiger bread? It should be called giraffe bread. Well, Lily Robinson. All right, decision makers in households. Women, right, like 80% of the time. Women love their kids. Know what we extra love? When our kids smile. Know what we think is really cute? When you do shit to make our kids smile. Boom, now I'm a customer for life. Okay, I'm not talking about be like, how is Sally's game? Stansberry says, the bread does look like a giraffe, not a tiger. You're absolutely right, Lily. We're going to change the name. Stansberry sends back a letter letting her know that they're going to do an online poll. They're going to engage an entire audience. So now moms like me, it's not even my kid, I want to shop there. Not by me though, so I can't. It's by you, you should. This is really sweet. But customer for life, all right? Remembering
I love how he signed it at the bottom. At the bottom, he signed it, and he put his name, and he put that he was age 27 and a half.
Right, and he was so cute about it, too. And what did that take him? Who cares what the thing is called? What did it take him? It took him 10 minutes, probably, to write this. He was probably empowered to do it, and if he wasn't, he still got it done quickly. All right, I want you guys to remember this in anything we're talking about, to find what you look for. Imagine if everyone on your team was looking for opportunities to create outstanding relationships. Every employee should be on the lookout for opportunities to do things that are outside of the ordinary. We find what we look for. Start looking. Look for the opportunities. We're going to talk about a couple that are available. All right. Moving on to purchase time. Expectations set up for response time, quality, and transparency. Customer service number 6. Answer your opportunities immediately. Not because they convert higher, which they do. Not because the OEM told you to, but they told you to because they do. Not because I'm telling you to, but I'm telling you to because they do, but because it's a customer experience, right? If I ask you a question, I expect you to respond to me. My day changes in 5 minutes. So maybe I thought I was going to talk to you. I was going to walk into a sales manager's office and have a conversation, and then boom, somebody grabs me in the BDC and we're having a conversation. Now my day just got different. All of a sudden I'm not available. Your customers have the same thing. Respond quickly with quality content and be transparent. What's the price of this car? Sure, I'm going to give that to you. You know why? Because it's on the internet. You can find it anyways. What's my trade-in worth? We're always like, get them in. We got to see the car. There's like 3 different systems online that give you actually a gauge that have always been around, but as of like 3 years ago, there's a trade-in marketplace and a couple other things where I can find out exactly what it's worth and get a check. What's the payment? Well, it's based on 17 different factors. We're going to need you to stop in. Do you need that? What happens when you create an environment where you have to just get them in for everything is that people come in and then they don't close, and then your salespeople go, none of these appointments are closing. I'm not going to take them seriously. And your sales managers are like, this is crap. Like, I'm not going to do this. And then the serious ones get missed. It is not about, and I'll say this a couple of times, quality over quantity. People, quality over quantity. You don't need 1,000 leads. You don't need 500 customers in the showroom. You need a quality experience process so that people who buy from you stay with you. So that's your first thing that we're going to talk about there. But I do want to go into a couple more in-depth things when it comes to that, and we're going to do that in just a moment. Trader Joe's. This is a supermarket. They don't live where I live. But we also don't deliver groceries. So this great woman calls her dad. He's 85. He lives in the mountains. It's a snowy day. Obviously, he doesn't want him driving. I don't know what happened that he was out of food, but you know, I have a grandpa and he shops daily, so I get how that could be a thing. Also, he eats at like the coffee shop every day, so that's also a thing. So she called all these grocery stores. There's 4 in the town. That's not a lot, but it's a small town. There's 4 in the town. Everyone's like, we don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. You know who did though? Trader Joe's said, you know what? It wasn't a corporate policy. It was just a guy empowered on the phone who said, you know what? Give me the list. I'll do the shopping, and I'll deliver them to your dad's house for free. There's not a charge for it. It's just good customer service. You know where that man shops now? Because he went online and talked about it, and so did his daughter, and he never liked Trader Joe's. He thought they were pretentious. That's actually what he said. But that's the only place he goes now, and he tells his family, and he tells his friends, and people like me share the story, and you'll do it too. So what happens is now they have a customer for life. And what did it cost them? A little bit of empowerment. All right, let's talk about the point when you get to a hard appointment. So you've got a customer who sets an appointment to come in. I don't care if it was a phone call. I don't care if it was a lead. I don't care what you call it. You have somebody that set a hard appointment, meaning they have a time that they are going to come in. So 3 things are going to happen here, okay? So at the end of the call on that appointment, I'm going to give you some best practice tips right now, and I will challenge you to implement them because they work and because they're just a good idea. All right, here's the first thing. I would like for you, and we're going to go more in depth into this part in just a minute, so I'll segue back to that. I would like you to think about your lot right now, even if you're landlocked. I want you to think about where could you create 2 VIP appointment spots, and they need to be outside on the lot because here's what you're going to do with them. You're going to take a sign, a white sign, or you can take one of those tall signs that say parking on it, and you can paint it white with dry erase paint. I don't care how you do it, but it's not expensive. They actually sell Rust-Oleum dry erase paint at Lowe's for like $9. Have somebody paint it. Empower them to do that. Get yourself some whiteboard markers. And I know those are scarce in a dealership. We're actually going to be giving those out as like our tchotchke gifts pretty soon because it happens so much. But park the 2 cars that the customer is looking at in those spots. So here's what I want you to do. There's a sign in the middle. There's 3 spots. Spot 1 is the car the customer talked to you about. Spot 2 is an empty spot with the reserved sign in front of it, and the reserved sign says that, reserved with my name on it. I'm your customer right now. It says Bobbie Herron. I'm like, that's so nice. Read on the other side of that car is the car you also want to sell them. Maybe it's because it's a similar car. Maybe it's because there's a spiff on it. I'm not judging you. I don't know why it's there, but it's there. Because if you were taught to sell a long time ago the way that I was taught to sell, it was all about control and psychology. It's still about that, guys. It just looks a little bit different. So imagine the customer on the phone right now. We've got the hard appointment set up, and I say to him, and don't quote me on this exact terminology. It's been a really long night, guys, and I'm at NAB anyway. So I'm going to say to the customer, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I am so excited that you are going to be coming in tomorrow at 3:15, and I'm so glad that worked for you. Hey, listen, the National Automobile Dealers Association does customer service questions every year for customers so that we can always be trying to improve our business. And last year they found, and this is true, last year they found that one of the most frustrating things for a consumer is pulling into a dealership and not knowing where to go. We pride ourselves on our customer experience here. So I want to make sure you know where to go when you come in. So when you pull in, you're going to go right to the right. You're going to pull into that first driveway, go to the right. You're going to see a block of cars. Right past that block of cars is going to be 6 open spots. You're going to see a big white sign. It's going to have your name on it. And what I want you to do is you're going to see the car that you were looking at. I want you to just pull right there. Just pull right in there, right between those 2 cars. Okay? When you pull in, go ahead and get out of the car. Those cars are going to be unlocked for you. They're going to be clean and ready to go. Go ahead and play with those cars for a minute. Take a look at them. Look at how they're different from the car that you're driving. See what you like and what you don't like. I'm going to join you out on the lot, or so-and-so as a product specialist is going to join you out on the lot, or if you insist on using the sales manager, again, I'm telling you that's a bad plan. Send them out. I don't care. Remember, we're setting the expectation. You got to have a follow-through. Okay? So you're going to pull in there, go ahead and play with that car. If for any reason you're ready to talk to me before I make it out to see you, please walk into the showroom. It's located right to the left. Go right up those steps through the door, and on the right, you're going to see this nice lady. Her name is June. She's worked with us for a couple of years. She's great. She will locate me for you, just in case. Otherwise, I'll meet you out with the car. Mr. Jones, do you have any questions? Right? Let me tell you what we just did there. Not only did we set an expectation, we made somebody feel important because we had a sign. We also isolated the cars from the lot so their gross doesn't get cut. Back in the day, that's how we sold cars. We pulled them up for a reason. People now are like, oh yeah, I pulled the car up because it's convenient. No, buddy, that's not why you pull the car up. You pull the car up because if the customer walks the lot looking at those cars, they're going to go to the most expensive car and want the least expensive price. Why are you letting them control the sale? That's craziness. Don't do that. The other reason that you pull it up is because it's good customer service, so they don't have to walk the lot, right? So now we put them between 2 cars. We made them park their car that they don't want to have anymore next to 2 beautiful brand new cars that they wanted. We made them feel special because we did everything that we said we were going to do. And they got out of the car and they're like, oh, dang. Remember that trade walk thing nobody likes to do? They just did it for you. Trust me. They looked at scratch. It already happened. You don't have to bring it up. You might later, but if you do, it's good. That's what we just did. We controlled the sales process. So we gave a customer experience strategy, and we improved our sales. Trust me on this. I promise. Put it in one. It'll change your life. Okay? All right. That is number 7. Now we have a poll question.
That's right. This is our last poll question of the day. We are running really late, so let's see if we can get all these votes in very, very quickly. We want to know, do you currently have an appointment confirmation process at your dealership? Please select one of the following. Of course, this is 2017. We have one, but we aren't consistent with it. I think I remember that being mentioned, confirmation appointment process. Yeah.
Something like that.
Process is a strong word. We try to do it if we have time. Or confirmation. Why would we do that? I don't know how do you say that? Bobbie, how do you say that?
Like, I don't need a confirmation process. We're amazing. Have you seen our Wi-Fi? No, because we don't have one. If we don't have that.
All right,
very nice, but that's why I asked you guys in the beginning.
All right, here we go. All right, so do you currently have an appointment confirmation process at your dealership? Once we get a majority of the votes in, we'll close this poll and share the results. And audience, I'm still looking for questions from you for our Q&A session, so if you have any questions, send those in. And Bobbie, we were only on 7? We got 3 more? My God, you've already put out so much information. So...
I know, I didn't label it all because I was like, 37, Bobbie, you're out of hand. You're out of, this is out of control. So, you guys, as you're listening to this, if you're thinking to yourself, well, I know we should do that. Are you though? Sometimes sometimes going to a webinar or a conference or something like that is about a TO. It's just like with us with customers, right, out on the floor. This is just a TO to remind you of stuff that you already know that you should be doing, and maybe some of it that you don't.
Okay, so let's close this poll and share the results. Okay, 42%, the majority of today's audience, say, of course they have an appointment confirmation process. This is so 2017. I'm wondering, however, if that 42% actually have an appointment confirmation process like the one you just described, because I've never heard an appointment confirmation process quite like that. I hope you do. All right, 35% of today's audience, quite a large number of our audience, say that we have one, but they admit they're not consistent with it. 6% of today's audience say they kind of remember someone mentioning an appointment confirmation process. 13% of today's audience say process is a very strong word. We only do it if we have time. And the last 3% say, why would we confirm our appointments? Bobbie?
Right on. All right. We're going to go into it then. Okay, I'm going to address a couple of different things for you here. 1, here's the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about, and it's going to be quick because it's really simple. Why in the world would you spend 80% of the money that gets spent in a dealership trying to bring people in and then spend all this money on BDCs or train people to be able to set an appointment and then say some stuff like, we don't really have time to confirm stuff. You don't not have time to confirm stuff. You know what? When I make a hair appointment, they call me to remind me. You know why? Because I forget because I'm busy. That's what happens. When I have a dentist appointment, they call me to remind me. Do you think that all of these other industries do that because what? They just all of a sudden thought it was fun? No, it's because it works, guys. Come on. People forget things that are happening. Here's the other reason. I'm going to walk you through a confirmation right now. So the last thing we talked about was setting the hard appointment. Going through confirmation, we're not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm going to give you something that is a customer service strategy. So it's called a drink order. It's something that Cardinelli does. It's something that a lot of our clients do, right? So if you got a Starbucks next to you, you got a Jamba Juice next to you, shoot, I don't care. You don't think it'll work? Put some Starbucks coffee in your lounge. I don't care how you do it, but do it. When you call to confirm the appointment, I want you to do this. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I am so excited that you're coming in today. It's so great to be able to talk to you. I'm the sales manager because that's who should confirm appointments, people. So I'm going to say to that customer, even if I'm not the sales manager, hey, listen, hey, Eliana, listen, when you come in today, I'd really like to run next door and grab you a coffee. I find that my customers like to have one when they get here, and I'll tell you what, I like to have one too, and if you have one, I get to expense it. You can say that, or you can say, I'd just like to grab you a coffee. I'm going to run next door to Starbucks before you get here. What can I get for you to drink? Customers either going to say, no, thank you. You can use the expense thing, math a little bit, and they'll say yes. Or they'll give you their drink order. Next question you're going to ask them, are you bringing anybody with you? So we can get them one too. Now we know who their CLO area is right out of the gate before they're coming. Now it's going to get even more powerful. I'm going to say to you before the end of the call, hey, because I'm going to go grab you that coffee, I don't want it to take a hold before you get here. So for any reason you're going to be late, please let me know so I don't run next door and take care of that. People feel obligated to do the right thing when they think there's an obligation. If they just set an appointment and they don't think it affects anybody's time other than a missed appointment, then they don't have to come, and your show rates increase when you do this. What is the worst thing that's going to happen? You lose 20 bucks, you're going to make it back on the other person. Because now think about what I told that customer on the hard appointment call. When you pull in, you're going to pull into this spot. I'm going to go back through all that stuff on the confirmation call, but in addition to that, I'm going to walk out with a coffee for you and whoever you're with. Now I am a monster at customer service experience. Are your walls down? Because everything I told you I was going to do, I did. And everything I did made you feel special. We forget that people need to feel special because we sell cars every day. Okay? It's not about a $5,000 car. It's not about a $50,000 car. It's about an outstanding relationship where everybody wins. I want you to keep that in mind with the drink order, and if you have more questions on it, I'll cover it more in depth. All right. Lexus recall. I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in 2006, Lexus had a huge recall. You know, we have those all the time. But what did they do? They sent people to people's houses and works, and they picked up their cars and brought them in. They didn't send them a mailer. They didn't send them some piece of mail like, oh, you have a recall. You need to bring it into the dealership. Like, what are we thinking when we do that? I have a $50,000 car and something's broken on it. That's a little freaky. It's freaky for people who don't work in the industry and see it all the time, right? And now these guys aren't even going to call me and tell me, just send me a letter in the mail. Who checks mail anymore? It's like 7 days old. And I got to drive to the dealership to do it. That's not creating a customer for life, people. You're not making more money on service because you need them to come in. If you spend the $30 that it takes to go pick up the car, you will create a service customer for life because you created a convenience for them. And convenience equals a win. All right, last up, they have arrived, and it's the purchase time, and we are on number 9. What is number 9? If you had to guess what the best practice is for number 9, what do you think it would be for customer service? Number 8 and number 7, follow through. This one is follow through on the expectation that you set up. Whatever you tell them, do it. Do not accept things like, well, you know, we tried to build the car, we just didn't have time. Oh, you didn't have time? You must be so busy with all the business you're creating, you don't need any more. No problem. We want you to set any more appointments this week. I don't know how many times you think that has to happen before they don't do it anymore, but it's not very many. All right, I'm going through this quickly because we're ending here soon. But let's talk really quick about the Ritz-Carlton. Outstanding customer service and known for it. They do about 500 different things right. But here's a good example. Again, it involves the kid. Moms love this. This is a thing. The Ritz-Carlton's only goal is to create an emotional attachment with a customer, thereby creating a connection that they will come back and do business with them. Pretty simple, right? Aren't we trying to do the same thing? So this is Joshie the giraffe, and Joshie was left there by a young man who was about 5 years old, right? The mom calls, really upset because the kid sleeps with it anyway. Anybody who has a little kid that sleeps with something every night knows that her life is not okay at this point, right? They're going to mail him back. Of course they're going to mail him back, but it's going to be 3 days, and he's not sleeping the entire time. Instead, the hotel will find what they look for. Let's take a regular moment, outstanding. And instead of just sending him back, they spend the entire day taking pictures with Joshie all over the place. Joshie is right here working at a computer because he's an assistant in the security department. He got to drive the truck, he got to play. They send all of these to the mom by text. Hopefully they were doing it legally. They sent all these to the mom by text to share with the son to say, Joshie's on vacation and he's so excited to come home and see you. Look at all this cool stuff he's doing. The kid went to sleep. The mom was happy. I bet you she never rents a different hotel than that Ritz-Carlton when she goes to that city or really anywhere else. So the goal is to develop such a strong emotional engagement between the hotel staff and their guests that a guest will not consider staying anywhere else. I bet you this mom doesn't stay anywhere else. All right, signed, sealed, delivered. I am yours. What are the loyalty customer service best practices? Don't call your customers on their birthdays. They're busy on that day. Just keep in touch with them. Send them real engagement, not automation. It's not hard to type a sentence. I can stalk every one of you on Facebook just by having your name. So what if I just popped my customer's name into Facebook for a second to see what's going on with their life and then made a call to them and said, hey, how are things going? I remember when you were here, you were talking about Molly being in soccer. How's that going? I just wanted to say hi to you. Customer's either going to be like, oh, that's awesome, or they're going to be like, that's creepy. And when they do it, you go like this. I wanted to create a customer for life. I told you when you're here, I'm committed to an outstanding experience. And it goes into this too. I want to follow up with you. Hey, while I have you on the phone, boom, go into prospecting household, right? So get some referrals, get some stuff like that. When you know they're in the service drive, go there. People always say to me, I go there. Okay. Here you go. Go there and say hello. They made a big purchase from you. And when you buy something and then somebody doesn't talk to you afterwards, you kind of feel like you went on that Tinder date, made a bad choice, and then didn't get a call the next day. Don't do that to your customers. It's not okay. All right. So you're going in at the basics. This is a mail piece. It's just a handwritten card from a service manager with a business card in it. We always look at these things and we're like, people don't care about that, don't they though? This went viral. It's the little things like this that can earn business. If I got this card, I would never use another mechanic in my life. That's the comment on a picture. This picture was posted on Facebook and in a couple of other places online. These are the kind of comments that were coming back on having this. People like the basic stuff that we do that we have forgotten is important. Write the frickin' card. It takes 5 seconds. Be genuine in it. You should appreciate their business. They pay your bills. They put your kids through college, right? So take a moment and look for the ordinary moments in every day that can make a difference for you. All right, so it doesn't take a bunch of charts and graphs filled with consumer data to reinforce the fact that your regular customers are your foundation. Take care of them. It's not just the right thing to do. It's a basic rule of business. You guys do a lot of things right. I'm not trying to say that you don't do any of them, but take something from that, all right? Takeaway here, give employees the incentive and the ability to deliver an outstanding customer experience. Place the priority with the customer rather than the regulations. You've heard that saying the customer is always right. No, they're not always right, but they should feel like they are, right? So now I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I'd sing that to you, but I'm not a singer. Eliana is. Eliana, will you sing that part for me? I dare you. I triple dog dare you, Eliana. Now you have to.
No.
She'll sing it to me later. I knew she was going to say no. I knew she was going to say no. You can't tell me.
Recorded if it wasn't being recorded.
All right, guys, we are almost through it. The suggested resources. There are 2 Facebook groups that you should most definitely join. Not because they send me anything fun for doing it, although really they kind of should, but because they're full of brilliant people who handle things just like you guys every day, including customer experience. So the first is the Alpha Dog Forum. If you're not in that, it's like Fight Club. We're not supposed to talk about it, so let's pretend you didn't see that on the screen. I'll add you. I'll add you, but you got to be my Facebook friend to do it. So find me on Facebook, add me, send me a message so I don't think you're a creeper, okay? And then I'll add you to it. The EKX Experience. This is Elise Kephart's Facebook group. It's got a bajillion members. They talk about everything all the time. So no matter your position in the dealership, these are 2 knowledgeable places. I told you a little bit about focus groups. So SurveyMonkey, that's a suggested resource. You can do a free survey on there. Work with your customers that way. Should you choose so. Lastly, me. I'm obviously a good resource. You should call me. I'll help you. All right. Action items. I gave you a lot of stuff. You're like, what is going on today? So here's my 4 things that if you take them from today's meeting, you will change your business. First, develop your why-buy. And if you've already developed one, improve it. And if it has any of those 4 things in it, take it out. It doesn't count. Find your influencers and utilize them. Just find 2 or 3. I'm not telling you to change the world, okay? Baby steps. We're starting at start. Pre-AA confirmation process. Stick to it. Should be a sales manager, but if it's not, just empower your people and have one person do it every day and don't mess around. This is where all the money in the dealership goes. This is where all the effort goes. Confirm your appointments. Lastly, a VIP customer experience process that includes parking spots and a sign. The parking spots are free. They already live there. And if you just thought in your head, well, I'm Leanne left, I can't put anything there. You know you have at least 3 cars somewhere on that lot that haven't been shown in over a year and a half. You shouldn't have them, but you do. So move them and use those spots to convert people so that you won't have cars like that for a year and a half anymore. All right. That's it, Eliana. We are good.
I love you, Bobbie Herron. You are awesome. All right, audience, if you love Bobbie Herron too, then send in some questions. And don't forget, we're going to be sending out a survey after this webinar concludes. We'd love to see your feedback on what you thought of this epic presentation that Bobbie just put on. Holy moly, that was a lot of information. I know you guys agree with me. Hey, do you have your question in yet for Bobbie? If not, send it in now. That's what the big yellow question mark is to remind you about. So if you have any questions about customer experience or customer loyalty or just an idea that you want to run past her, now's the chance that you can send that question, and we're going to be getting to that Q&A session very shortly. Before we do that, though, we got a couple bits of business to hand out. First of all, I want to direct your attention, in fact, to the handouts section of your GoToWebinar interface. You have one handout in there, and it is the amazing slide deck from Bobbie today. So you have until the end of this broadcast to download that handout and keep it for your own self with all the notes already in there, all right? So do that. And yeah, Bobbie, no, you're right. It's that time. If you missed it at the beginning of the webinar, I announced that our good friends over at ZMOT Automotive, they're giving away a great prize on today's webinar. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win an entire month of consulting with Bobbie Herron herself. What? This consulting package includes several 2-hour phone calls, a roadmap to success that she's going to make just for you, a full top-to-bottom store review, unlimited support, and so much more. This direct consulting package with Bobbie Herron, yeah, it's valued at $5,000. Tremendous, awesome, amazing prize from our friend Bobbie Herron and our good friends over at ZMOT Automotive. So what do you have to do? You got to get ready, get to your keyboards. First person to write in the correct response will be winning this amazing prize today. Of course, if you are a vendor, you know we love having you here on the DealerOn webinars, but as you can see, as you can probably tell, this prize is intended for dealership personnel only. We're going to ask you to please sit this out and let a very deserving dealership person win this prize for their dealership. All right, good luck, everyone. This is not an easy question, all right? So I hope you guys were paying attention and took great notes. Here we go. What is the general manager or the dealer principal's role in creating an outstanding customer service strategy? Now, we are looking for two answers, two things, more like phrases, let's say. So what is the general manager or dealer principal's role in creating an outstanding customer service strategy? No one's gotten it right yet. Well, some people wrote in one thing, but you have to write in both things.
So remember, guys,
you have one thing.
Before and after, okay? So what do they need to do right now? And then once they do that, what do they need to do next?
Wait. I think we got one. I don't know. Tell me if this is the winner.
You want to text it to me?
Gosh, I think she's the winner.
Well, let's chat about it then.
All right, so we have Bobbie, the answers that you gave me were empowering their employees, and a lot of people got that one. But a lot of people weren't getting the second one, which was then hold them accountable. So I think the only person that came close to that was creating an empowerment policy, right? And following up.
Boom! It means the same thing. Words are just a series of letters strung together. They only have the value you give them, and that is what we meant. Who gave us that?
Tamara Swats, congratulations. You are a winner of today's amazing giveaway by ZMOT, a $5,000 package on a consulting package with Bobbie. Congratulations. That is amazing. So remember, people, the answers we were looking for: what is the general manager or the dealer principal's role in creating an outstanding customer service, empowering their employees, and then holding them accountable. Thank you so much, Tamara Swats. Woo! You won a heck of a prize.
I love that. And you guys, you remember with questions and things, like I go through this webinar and I'm like, we're going to do this, right? You need to do this. And sometimes that can be intimidating for somebody. So know that my style of communicating with somebody is not to judge the things that aren't going right in a store. My style is to be your dealer-to-dealer partner and to partner with you and collaborate, even if it's for just a conversation, on how you can be better. There is no judgment there. So although I am direct, I am also hearing about your business. So
well, let me just tell you, Tamara already wrote in. She says, thank you so much. We look forward to it. They're Legacy Toyota in Tallahassee, Florida. Tamara, congratulations. What a great score you got. I bet, you know what, the owner of your dealership is going to love this. I think he's going to totally be all behind this. So thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing how it all pans out for you. So please keep us posted, okay? And of course, I know we had one amazing prize today, and not everyone can win every week. But you know what? Come on back to another DealerOn webinar, and who knows, that could be the week, your lucky week, you win a cool giveaway on a DealerOn webinar. But for right now, we're going to thank Tamara Swats from Legacy Toyota in Tallahassee, Florida. Thank you, everyone, for playing along. And of course, we got to thank our good friends over at ZMOT Automotive for their incredible generosity. What an amazing prize. All right. Hey, Bobbie, you can turn on your webcam now. Let's see what you look like today.
OMG. Here we go.
Hey, babe. All right. Amazing presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's see. We got questions today. Okay. It's going to be short because I have to go Catch a
I
plane
know, and that's
to
okay. So
NADA.
here, let me tell you guys this too. If we don't get to your question, call me or text me. I'm at NAD, so it's a little crazy, but I'll answer any question that you have at any time. And I'm giving a verbal opt-in right now.
You're very kind. Okay, let's get to this one. This one comes in from David. He says, hey, Bobbie, any advice for a new guy in the auto sales business?
Absolutely. Well, David, it depends on what your background is, right? But here's the best advice that I can give anybody. You find what you look for. Don't spend your time around the water cooler. Don't spend your time making friends while you're there. Sure, be nice. You're going to spend more time with these people than your family, but we have a tendency to pick up other people's bad habits before we pick up the good ones. Negativity will never get you anywhere. So I am more than happy to have an additional conversation with you. I remember my first day in sales, and I mentor a lot of people. I love this business. I love what it can do for people, but it can do some damage too. So let's make sure you stay away from that. You got my number. Give me a shot. What do we got next, Eliana?
I mean, isn't that the sweetest? Actually, I really have to cut this short. I'm sorry, Bobbie. But if you have any more questions for Bobbie Herron, let me tell you, she's an amazing resource. She must be, because Elise Kephart herself actually tuned in today to hear what you had to say. So hi, Elise. Hey, and I will be seeing you at NADA and again at other places later on this year. So thank you so much, Bobbie. You put on a top-notch presentation every time you're here. I hope it won't be long before we get you back here in the hot seat again. Okay, great. We want to remind the audience that a link to download a copy of this webinar recording is going to be emailed to you later today for your reference. Hey, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your friends and colleagues. This is amazing, amazing stuff. Today's webinar is also going to be posted online within 24 hours. All you have to do is go to DealerOn.com/webinars to view our upcoming webinar schedule or access any of our past webinars too. And yes, this webinar is going to conclude in just another minute. When it does, you're going to get a short survey. Seriously, it's 3 questions, people. You can handle it, right? So get out there and let's get your feedback. I want to know what you thought of today's presentation. It's very important to us. Tell us what you think. And hey, DealerOn is headed to NADA in NOLA. We brought you something. Besides our awesome open bar, oh yeah, we're giving away $100 to anyone who pre-schedules a demo. It will also come with a free audit of your choice, either website, SEO, or SEM, or you know what, go crazy. Get all 3. They're free. And we'll also give you a copy of the new ebook on local SEO that we just wrote. The DealerOn execs will be delivering killer presentations on everything from mobile site optimization to fixed ops, so please be sure to check those out. And you can come and meet me at booth 1161 for a drink. Hopefully, I'll see you at the show. And invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next DealerOn webinar, How to Be Socially Awesome in 2017. Fact.
Bobbie hit the button.
Yeah, I know. Fact. Most dealerships are doing social marketing wrong. It's true. I mean, it is. And it's very likely that your dealership is one of them. Furthermore, those online missteps, they're costing your dealership a lot of money, time, effort, man hours, sales, or a combination of all of them. In 2017, it's time for you to finally get serious about your social marketing program. Are you ready to learn how to achieve social media awesomeness? We have invited auto industry veteran Matt Koenig to help us on our journey towards social media nirvana. His straightforward, no-nonsense presentation will show you how even the most socially awkward dealership can turn things around and get exceptional social marketing results in no time flat. Attendees of this fast-paced and entertaining webinar will learn which social media mistakes are costing you sales right now, how to get more social media engagement than your competitors, how to get the best ROI out of your social media program, and which social media strategies are worth it and which, quite frankly, are a waste of time. So get ready. This free 1-hour presentation is going to be jam-packed with everything you need to be socially awesome in 2017. Don't you dare miss it. Register now. And don't forget, DealerOn's weekly webinars are held Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding our webinars and our topics, hey, reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Again, my name is Eliana Raggio, and I am everywhere. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. I'm on every automotive social network. You name it, I am there. Or you know what? Hey, go crazy and email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today. And I hope to see you all on another webinar in our continuing education series. Take care, everyone.
Bye.